Hey everyone, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below telling us where you're tuning in from. The doctor's office reeked of harsh cleaner mixed with something sweet, all sterile and off-putting. The little bottle in my hand had set me back an amount that could make adults choke on their words like it was some bad punchline. Liam's tiny fingers felt chilly wrapped in mine, his little joints fidgeting with my shirt cuff while he eyed the nurse securing the wrap over his access point. He was 5 and tough in that pure way only young kids can be, flashing quick grins even when wiped out, whispering the same gentle questions about prehistoric creatures amid the slow flow of his treatment. I'd cleared out a bunch of stuff from storage, picked up extra shifts, called in some favors, and finally pulled together the cash for the drug the cancer specialist swore would give him at least extra days, possibly weeks. Moments filled with school assignments and swing sets rather than fluorescent hospital glow. I kept the proof of purchase tucked slim in my jeans, warm by my skin, evidence I'd pulled off what everybody insisted I had to do. I'd figure my folks would linger somewhere on the edges of our world, far off, popping in now and then, the type to appear at milestones in sharp outfits and bounce out soon after. That's the pattern I'd come to count on. But life doesn't stick to scripted parts. My mom and sibling were lurking in the hallway, like scavengers dolled up in makeup. Mom's coat looked shiny and brand spanking new, screaming some kind of statement. And my sister gripped a purse that snapped with each step across the hall, like a timer measuring my value. They grinned at the front desk lady as if they were gearing up for a win. I should have caught on right then to their real reason for showing up, but I had a kid depending on that medication and a laser focus that pushed everything else into the background. "Hey there," Mom chirped, sharp as a light switching on. Her tone was thick and polished. "We're only stopping by to back Liam's upcoming big event." She tossed out Liam like it labeled their latest venture, not my boy. I reached to pull Liam close and sensed her grip on my elbow. Firm, not gentle. A hold. "Sarah, mind if we chat?" She phrased it like borrowing a cup of sugar. I replied, measured. "We can chat later." The nurse. She cut me off. "We require a household contribution," she declared. Snappy. "Liam's deal sealed this week. The stylist already fronted cash for outfits. We're maxed out. You get it." She glanced beyond me at the nurse, at whoever might catch it. The term maxed out dangled like a billboard for all to see. My neck tensed up because I knew exactly what maxed out translated to in their dictionary. My situation was just figures in their books, and those figures always curved toward whoever sparkled most in pictures. I caught the whiff of their prep, how they'd rehearse kindness for the spotlight and crunch costs in private. I pulled the proof from my pocket on instinct. I needed them to witness the reality of what I'd traded my housing funds, my extra hours, and the little safety stash in a cookie jar for. I needed them to grasp I'd picked Liam over countless things they dubbed chances. Mom's gaze flicked over the slip like it was junk mail. Her grin narrowed. She let the purse swing wide and the vibe flipped. Her stance shifted from giver to accuser. "You blew our cash," she muttered, casual as listing errands. "You grabbed money meant for household growth. Liam required a fresh set for the morning. He can't show up missing it." I pocketed the proof again. "That was my cash," I stated, because voicing it locked in the fact. "I earned it. Liam required this therapy." My sister plopped into a seat like stepping into her role. "Mom's spot on," she added, poison wrapped in candy. "Ease is key to thriving in our circle. You missed the image part. If Liam nails it on stage, opportunities flood in, folks back us. We figured you were on board with the strategy." "Strategy?" I echoed. "What strategy? You mean the one where one kid thrives and the other foots the bill?" They'd forever labeled strategy for stuff that skipped me entirely. College for one daughter, orthodontics for the next, cheers for the star sibling. It was built-in harshness masked as smart moves. Mom inched nearer, hand out flat like offering a prize. "You got how households run," she claimed. "We maintain balance. You dipped into the pool. You should have checked in." My ribs caved in. I begged my neighbor to mind Liam for another gig. I offloaded. "You offloaded what?" Mom snapped. Her tone turned cutting. "You offloaded stuff? You offloaded household items? You never." She halted. her stare honed in like a blade prepping for tender flesh. I laid out the minor items I'd pawned, dodging quick cash traps, pulling graveyard hours at the diner because facts grounded me. Liam's digits laced through mine. He gazed at me like I was his reliable guide. That faith meant her barbs couldn't pierce the same. That's when she struck me. It wasn't dramatic. It was quick and straightforward. The open palm smacked my neck with a dull, shaming whack like a routine response. Breath rushed out of me like shedding a burden. My fingers shot to my collar because my words had vanished inward. Liam wailed, raw, instant, and the space twisted into a noise so piercing it mimicked shattering. Mom's expression stayed steady. No flash of heated remorse. She'd conditioned her strikes to land like a ruling hammer when emphasizing. Her ease takes priority, she announced, and the phrase rang clear and smug. Forever. Head swiveled. The nurse's desk erupted in hushed chatter. Mom's hand lingered midair, steady, deliberate. My sister's device flashed as she recorded with the relaxed rage of proving her side. I gulped and caught a metallic tang. Terror, red, shame. I considered yelling for aid, grabbing my phone, bellowing. I skipped all that because split-second choices weigh heavy and chaotic, and I had a 5-year-old needing a mom who could act. I scooped Liam up because he was my world in one compact, real form. He clung to my neck, and I sensed his little pulse thump my jaw like a beat for essentials. I avoided Mom's eyes as I exited. I walked out with the sting of the hit in my windpipe, and the echo of my sister's heels tapping the tiles like a verdict delivered. We rode in a quiet that wasn't soothing. Liam nodded off against me, his head weighty, gentle as a plate. I rang the druggist from the vehicle and verified the following shipment, figuring routines would anchor me. Dread hummed faint in my mind's rear, but I had tasks. Visits to schedule, contacts to reach, a boy who slumbered like a fragile wonder. At the end that evening, I stayed up with a cold compress on my neck, replaying the thread of minor hurts woven through time, boasting of one kid's award while urging me to appreciate scraps, commending a daughter for giving while dismissing my begs for aid. Their meanness had design. It had schematics. It wasn't random. I let Liam rest in my arms curve and observed his tiny torso lift and drop. The drug proof rested on the side table like a charm. I'd selected him. Every cent, every no, every hushed discussion, my mom had picked spectacle. The picks couldn't mesh. Their affection stayed tied to conditions and showy. Mine was a tally of modest, useful steps that kept my child inhaling. When morning arrived, it streaked a vivid line over the endrape, and I didn't sense victory. I felt drained and determined and alone in a manner unrelated to their okay. I pondered ahead, tasks ahead, expenses to manage, evenings in the office lounge, and I pondered the pick I'd locked in. I'd secured my boys' treatment. I'd drawn a mark in a household balance that couldn't fade. I reclined there cradling Liam and sensed another thing root in me, silent and total. They'd wielded their ease as shield and my child's existence as a hassle. I held proof, a log, and a modest, firm scheme. I wouldn't plead for their nod. I wouldn't mend the gap in their ethical math with my sorries. I shut my lids and tuned to Liam's breaths. Beyond, vehicles flowed in varied rhythms. Within, I practiced useful steps, outreach to plan, spots to seek, aid to gather. I lacked a grand wrap-up still. I held an ongoing chain of minor deeds that would shape my days. And that sufficed for this evening, for the coming dose, for the extended haul to render another's ease secondary to my boy's endurance. I stirred the following day with my neck aching, puffy, each gulp echoing precisely what my mom valued my child's days at. I perched in the washroom, bulbs humming over the glass, and gazed at my reflection like encountering a stranger I'd only partly known. I wasn't tearing up. I was strategizing. Endurance demands mode shifts. I'd grasped that overnight. I wasn't returning to their place. I wasn't reliving the bit where I justified to folks who'd ruled I lacked worth unless feeding their ranks. I located a local support initiative in town that aided solo caregivers facing kid cancer costs. They skipped the whys. They skipped demands to verify my boy earned attention. They just wanted proofs and health docs. I forwarded it all. In a week, They greenlit some funding, set up rides to a linked facility, and guided me to a gig scheme that compensated per week, not month, spot on for my spot. Bit by bit, life steady, not ideal, not flashy, but solid. My folks persisted phoning, not to regret, to claim. Mom dropped message after message on household image and derailing Liam's drive. She messaged I'd spark splits. She claimed Liam's sickness drained feeling reserves, off track. Each note mirrored. Their realm demanded one spotlight, and it wasn't my child. I ignored the rings, but I wasn't mute. I wasn't idle. I was observing. One evening, Liam rang me straight and stated flat, "Mom requires lease this cycle." She figured you could handle since your tabs aren't legit anyhow. I eyed Liam dozing in his care cot, we fist gripping his plush lizard, screams even like soft evidence of priority. And I sensed the instant I got what had to change. The day they opted to smack me over aiding me, I turned their final lifeline without their notice. They were so accustomed to me dousing blazes they sparked, they missed I could just cease arriving with relief. I skipped a lecture. I skipped their grasp. I just readied to seal the entry they saw as air. I resolved that the following occasion they sought anything, funds, stay, social ease. Link, I wouldn't provide, wouldn't fix, wouldn't save. They would arrive, and when they did, I had my move set. They showed quicker than anticipated. 8 months on, my boy was steady enough for clinic visits over weekly drips. I held a reliable routine. I managed 2 flexible virtual cord rolls, and I built a modest buffer expanding. Not vast, but sufficient to inhale sans alarm. I avoided sharing it. I avoided boasting. I simply labored steadily, reliably, like a lady past needing clearance. My parent setup finally fractured when Liam lost the label. His pack never closed. His backing crumbled. Mom messaged, crisis. Require $1,900 for 2 cycles or we forfeit this home. Then father phoned. He skipped shouting now. His sound resembled a guy learning pull tardy. We can sort it, he grumbled. Can rely on kin. You know, I was in my compact lounge creasing Liam's lizard sleepwear. He sat in the eat area munching flakes, murmuring softly. Nothing theatrical in the scene. They were merely requesting the asset they thought theirs eternally. I replied evenly. You struck my neck since I purchased therapy that preserved your grandkids' days. Quiet from him, dense and even. You claimed her ease led, I added. And now mine leads. Father breathed deep, an irritated beast sound. You truly ditching kin over one heated slip? You ditched kin the second. You swapped a kid's hurt for a catwalk gown, I replied. Then I locked his contact forever. The following day, my mom attempted from another line. We can crash with you a while, her note said, like I ran the aid spot for the beast who crafted my wounds. I skipped response. I skipped funds. I skipped aid. I skipped any path rear into my world. And when they appeared at my job entrance surprise, frantic, faded, faking gentle like outfit cloth, guards removed them in moments since I'd flagged their names as barred. Their shame was low-key, procedural, detached, the sole tongue controlling parents never foresee. Liam never encountered them anew, and I hauled no remorse. I hauled evidence of true endurance. Months on, when he dashed about the modest yard of the paired home we leased, giggling, kicks muddied from lawn marks, he glanced up and asked, Mom, we're good now, yeah? I dropped beside him and tipped my head once. Yeah, I said. We are good now. I stood by it. I didn't merely snap the pattern. I sealed the escape behind it. Hey everyone, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below telling us where you're tuning in from.